Well, good morning and thank you very much for joining us. I am Iyori Folarin. Okay, the ruling APC held its NEC meeting yesterday, and it's like we're a bit further along on the road to, coming up with candidates for the parties. The aspirants, one of them will convert into a candidate of the party, but in the meantime, the NEC has made some, giving some indications. The NWC, the working committee, is to decide on the zoning and the mode of primaries. Let's talk about it for a bit. And we have Remy Omowaye, Ocean State Commissioner for Works and Infrastructure. And, that is incidental because the man is an APC man, is why he's here primarily. Good morning to you.
Good morning, Kuyari. Good
Honorable Omowaye. Yeah. Indeed, our pleasure. So, your assessment of the NEC from your corner, it went very well.
Yes.
People made there were a lot of reactions to the fee for the presidential ticket, and in fact, all the governors, all the fees attached. I think women are looking good in the sense that female, I understand, aspirants. I think they have a free run. They can get their forms gratis, or is that not exactly accurate?
Well, that's not exactly accurate.
Okay.
Good morning, viewers at home. Good morning, Kuyori.
Thank you.
We must not take away the fact that APC is a ruling party, and there's so much attention. Before yesterday's meeting, there's been a lot of insinuation. At the moment, APC has about 15 presidential aspirants, so there's a lot of attention who succeed President Muhammadu Buhari. And APC is a party that had always been canvassing for women and youth and the disabled. So if you look at part of the outcome of NEC yesterday, the women are not to pay full fee. They will pay, I think nomination is free, but they will pay for expression of forms. So what that means is, if a woman is running to become president, she's going to pay 30 million naira. There's also a special consideration for the youth.
That's a hefty discount. If a lady is to pay 30 million,
as against 100 million,
as against 100 million.
Well, that's also an indication that the party wants to encourage more women in politics. There's also a good discount for the youths, age 25 to 40.
Because
they are also going to pay about 50% of the fee.
That was a case being made, and it has indeed been accepted?
Yes, it's been accepted, according to what the national youth leader, Daisha, said. They also made case for the disabled. They're also going to pay about half of the fee. I'm personally I don't really support making it entirely free for the disabled and the women, because a lot of people will just abuse it. At the end of the day, if it is free for women, 100 women can come out and tell you they want to be president because they just want their name to be heard. So at times when you make it too free, people would abuse the process. So that is the situation of things. But we must also have it at the back of our mind that this is a ruling party. In 2014, it was 20 million for presidential. In 2019, I think it was 45 million. So now it's 100 million.
Well, and that, as you said, reflects perhaps the fact that there are more than a few aspirants that want to get the ticket.
Yes, because about 15 people are signifying interest. And if you have too many aspirants, it will be so cumbersome. So I think what NEC also looked at is, I'm not part of NEC, but I think what they also looked at is, this would actually take away the men from the boys. I've seen one of the aspirants who had shown interest earlier complaining yesterday that 100 million is a huge amount of money. And my position is, if you want to be president of over 200 million people, a country like Nigeria, it requires a lot of resources. And everywhere in the world, we must not deceive ourselves. Politics is expensive. We must not deceive ourselves. So 100 million for someone who wants to run an election with over 50,000 polling units, is such person will be able to afford it. And if you look at the trend of things since yesterday, an individual had signed a check of 100 million for Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu immediately. We also read somewhere that the DG of Amechi Ndome has also gotten 200 million for the form. And so I'm sure those that are ready for the contest will be able to afford it.
As you said, by this definition, those who are ready for the contest will be able to afford this announcement, 100 million.
Yes.
And when you compare it with other, tickets for the same office in other parties, we're talking about it, it's not the same.
It's not the same, no doubt.
But what it means is that the extent to which an ordinary person can vie for the office of the president, as far as even all of the parties, but in particular APC, you see that business in the Constitution where anybody is entitled to vie.
Yeah, but Uncle Yori, the question is, does anybody vies for presidency in US?
The same principle.
It's
right?
the same principle. Joe Biden had been in the Senate for only God knows. So it's not, it defeated the incumbent. So it's not a job for the small boys. I mean, if you want to be president of Nigeria, it requires a lot of people. We are talking of over 200 million people. We are talking about running for presidency in a country that has over 700 local governments, over 100,000 polling units. So it's not a job for the small boys. And if you also see the way this works, it might not even be the aspiring person that would ultimately pay for this. Look at the case of Asiwaju Tinubu now. It's a northerner from Kebbi, that said, okay, I've signed a 100 million naira check for you. Indome is from Borno, Amechi is from Port Harcourt. So I think this is a time for us to know the serious aspirant from those that just want to be heard. I can also come out and say, okay, I want to be president just because I want people to discuss me. So also list me among the 15 candidates, aspirants.
Okay, so then there's the matter of how we should go about conducting the primaries. That is to say, two things. One, zoning has to be pronounced upon, right? Because we've been hearing things. It is thought that it's going to the south.
Yeah.
Now, whether southwest, southeast, south, it's going to the south, and all sorts of everybody, who feels that they are serious has been coming in on that particular situation.
Yeah.
There are those who are saying it is the turn of the south. Of course, the southwest, thinks it has a
what
turn.
What is an unwritten agreement that after the north, it will be the turn of the south. And if you look at all the leading aspirants, apart from maybe Yaya Bello, they are all from the southern part of the country. And APC is a party that is well structured. Yoruba will say Egbeto Leto. So, and yesterday, NEC had also given the power to NWC to take decision on their behalf for the next 90 days. So I'm sure at the appropriate time, National Working Committee would probably come up with what they want to say about the zoning. And on the mode of primaries, it is clear in the constitution of the party that it's either you come in through direct or indirect primary. That's clear in the constitution of the party. However, we've seen some of the aspirants that are not ready for primary canvassing for consensus. In 2014, when we picked Muhammadu Buhari as the flag bearer of the party, it was not via consensus. We carried out primaries. So I know those canvassing for consensus are candidates, are aspirants that are not ready. Take Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu. He's gone around the country. He's ready for primaries. And so NEC, through the work in the NWC, I'm sure would come up with the appropriate mode of primaries.
Because the NWC will be advised. Well, I have read in the news that whatever they come up with NWC, in the NWC, will be forwarded to NEC for ratification.
Yes, but
the highest
they've also given the powers to NWC to take on behalf of NEC, because calling NEC is always not easy, particularly with the INEC timetable now. So, but one thing that is sure is the constitution of the party is clear. That either is direct or indirect primary. Yes, there are people who feel doing direct primaries might be cumbersome. So they have the opinion that it should be indirect. And there are some people that are saying, okay, let's do consensus. But I know from what the president has always been saying, with the consensus, you might not get the best candidate. So it's always good you get the members of the party to determine who becomes their candidate. And if you look at what's on ground, it's clear that a candidate or an aspirant stands out on this whole issue. And I I know other aspirants that are not really ready for primaries are the one canvassing for consensus. But as it is now, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu is clearly ready for primary, and it seems to be the only aspirant that is fully on ground and that is ready for primary, be it direct or indirect primaries.
Okay. And as you were saying, it's it's a lot easier to manage indirect primaries.
It's a lot easier because it's just the statutory, it's just the delegate that will come and vote. If you look at it, analysis of, we have about 7,000 plus delegates that would vote if it's indirect primaries. But if it is direct primaries, you are expecting every members of the party to come and vote, and that might be too cumbersome for the presidential primaries.
Well, indeed. So, well, the other thing I think is the things that have been decided already. The presidential primary has been fixed for 30th.
Yes, based on the new guideline of INEC. So you can also see that other parties are also preparing. PDP has also fixed their own for that time. So interesting days lies ahead. But as I've said earlier, I'm sure the National Working Committee will come up with a mode of primaries. And if they are to go by what we have in the constitution of the party, it's going to be direct or indirect. But as we explained that for the presidential primary, direct might be cumbersome. So we might end up, depending on the wisdom of the National Working Committee, to come up with indirect primaries. But I can say for free that those canvassing for consensus, those are not ready for primaries. And if you look at the antecedent of our party, you would always do primaries. And the president has said that we should encourage feeding someone that is very popular. And for you to feed someone that is very popular, the opinion of the delegate, the opinion of the party members count. I've also seen people raise the issue of when you want to do indirect primary, money will exchange. And I told them in 2014, President Muhammadu Buhari won our primary, but was not the richest. We had Atiku contested in 2014 against him. Kwankwaso contested against him. Yet, in spite of the money bag that contested against Buhari in 2014, Buhari won the primary ticket because average delegate of the party would also look at it that we must push out a candidate that can defeat the opposition.
Indeed.
So whether we like it or not, we have a major opposition in PDP. So we must ensure we get our best. I see PDP advising that we should pick a particular candidate. And I'm of the opinion that if we pick that candidate by 12 o'clock on the election date, they will have defeated us. So we must put out a candidate that PDP is even afraid to contest with. And that's Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu.
Okay. Dr. Olabisi Dejifulutile, journalist, editor-in-chief, franktalknow.com, has joined us. A fine morning to you, Olabisi. Thank you for coming on as always.
Thank you. Good morning.
Indeed. Well, we were speaking about some of those things. The women, seem to have got a fair deal because they have a hefty discount out of, for if a lady were to present herself now for the presidency, she wouldn't have to go all the way to 100 million. They would be
they will pay just 50 million, right?
30
million.
Even that 70% discount.
Is it 70?
No. They are going to pay for expression of interest, and nomination form will be free.
Okay.
And expression of interest is 30 million
30
for presidential.
million.
Nomination is 70 million.
Okay, that's great. That's great. At least.
So if you want to contest as a president,
just that, even if I want to,
yes,
I don't think I have that war chest, but at least is.
They've been raising money for presidential aspirants. So the women in
he made
Nigeria
the point that
can also raise
immediately
money for
yesterday somebody picked up the tab for Asiwaju Bola Ahmed
Yes,
Tinubu,
that's right. That's right.
And there are other aspirants indeed whose supporters are saying, "Look, we're ready. Here you are."
But at least APC shows that we have preference for we are giving chance to women,
the youth, and the disabled.
Yes, but
is there a but?
Yeah, of course.
What's the but?
The money is still huge.
Okay, but well, if you say the money is still huge, there are other offices, that you can vie for. There's a 2 million naira office, for example, in terms of the cost of the form. It's just 2 million naira for House of Assembly.
And if she wants to vie for House of Assembly, she's not going to pay 2 million because she will just pay for expression of interest, which is 500,000. So
Oh, okay, which means you are trying to encourage us women
Yes.
to just start from
wherever
we can,
Look,
and now move up as time goes on.
And to also show you, Uncle, to also show you that the party cares about the women. Don't forget that if the women eventually gets there, she gets the same salary as a male counterpart. But in buying form, yours is heavily discounted. That is because the party values women a lot. And as a traditional politician, I know the women they are very important in party politics.
I like what you brought in. They get the same salary as the men folk.
Yes.
Yet they didn't spend the same amount of
And
money.
I was even
Their
going,
investment
yes,
is
I was even going to add my own 2 bits. The salary for the president is irrelevant. The salary doesn't matter.
no, it should matter.
Well,
It should matter.
because
it's only here that it doesn't seem to matter. Because
the president is going to pay for his residence.
because really,
he's going to pay for. Is this good?
Talking about
salaries.
salaries, if you really want to look at it,
He's not going to touch his salary.
APC's nomination, whatever, of 100 million is about the 4-year salary of the president by the time he gets to power, with about 30 million per annum in salary and emoluments now.
Yes.
So I think the total should have been probably 120 million, and the man will have invested 100 million.
But that's just a joke. These things are because he had said that, unless it matters to you very much, he had said that, look, if a person is serious, this is also part of the way of whittling down interest to see who are those that are actually very, very serious about the matter.
I also know that it's also a way of getting funds for the party. It's nomination forms and stuff like that. It's a way of raising money for the party usually. So, of course, I can agree that it's a way of whittling down
the field.
Yeah, because 15 people have shown interest that they want to be president.
I thought they were 10.
No, 15. And if it's not that they brought this, more people have also shown interest. So with this now, you'll see serious contender. And it is also important that we know that the party can, at the end of the day, come out in their own wisdom that if you did not win, we are refunding your money. They might. Look at when we did our national convention. And at the end of the day, we agreed that, okay, if you're stepping down, they will refund your money. You have said something that is very important. Party management is also very expensive.
Yes.
Very, very expensive. And it is not about the salary of the president or the person involved. I have told you that yesterday, someone had signed a check of 100 million for Ashwaji Bola Ahmed Tinubu, someone from the north.
Yeah.
Yesterday, we also read that someone had signed a nomination for the 100 million for Amechi. So it's not about the person's salary, it's about those supporting you, it's about the structure. There's no amount you
because it comes down to the structure. It comes down to the structure.
Amounts that you talk about will not be raised for Ashwaji Bola Ahmed Tinubu within house because he has the structures across the state. But there are some of these aspirants that they don't even know in some states. A leading aspirant came to Osun a few days ago. We didn't even know. We just saw him on the dailies that he went to his palace. So, I mean, that's it's about the people and the structure that you have.
Okay. And now, the president is also, as he was in the case of the chairmanship primaries convention, he's been very sort of the admonition to the people to not be divisive. Don't be divisive in any way. This whole matter of party unity is like the president is guiding through that. Rancor should be eschewed.
Yeah, because if that is not done, naturally we know that in unity we stand, united we stand, and divided we fall.
Indeed.
Yeah, so definitely, and that admonition is also very important. If you look at what has been happening within the party, which even the chairman of your spoke about yesterday, the intrigues, and he actually identified some of the factors responsible for that and the need for them to also close ranks and ensure that they work with one voice, which is very important because it will be very easy even though APC is a ruling party, it will be very easy to get it out of power, because we've seen a ruling party that got out of power just because there was division.
Indeed, indeed.
Yeah, so
the other thing, of course, is one of the dailies this morning, The Nation, in fact, headlines: Buhari cautions APC against imposition of candidates. How can imposition happen in this open kind of a
when you don't feed the best candidate, I mean the best aspirant as your candidate.
When you don't
feed the best, the most popular person as your candidate, then
that would mean the party was imposing.
Yeah, maybe a group of people just feel
this is really to the party.
Yeah,
is advising APC. Good morning, Mazi Okoroafo in Arochukwu.
Good morning, sir. Good morning, my sister, my brother in the studio.
good morning.
You see, to me, the money is very, very outrageous, because looking at the situation now on ground. But the question is, the 100 million is for the big boys, not for the newcomers. What we have by big boys? If you are not prepared for election, you just can't see that. But my main concern is now this: the ministers and the governors, where are they going to get the money, especially the ministers? Is it not from their own salary, or their allowances, or their savings?
Yeah, but Mazi, you just heard that supporters are picking up tabs for at least a couple of the aspirants so far.
But when you say people are picking for forms for aspirants, if you look at the percentage, it will not get up to 20%.
Okay.
Maybe 20% or 30% as far as the forms are being picked by people. But the question is this: the chances for the youth, that is my concern. That is why when I've been saying that if anybody wants to contest this election, or even the present governors, I've been saying it, I'm still repeating it, they could have waited when they leave office. Let them leave for those people that have already established, what I'm established, people know them with their track records to come on board. Because although in some other countries, I saw where they are up to 30-something, up to 30-something presidential aspirants on a particular year. I was laughing. Now, to come back to Nigeria now, the number is not too much compared with what we have seen in past history. But my own concern is this: if the money is at least for the ladies, the female folk, I will encourage them to participate. Whatever I participate, let them come on board. Let us see. All these gender inequalities people have been shouting, whether the women themselves now can do a U-turn and set their own in whether Senate or all this. Because if the party has given the female folks the opportunity to come on board, there is need for them to be carried along. They should go and stand up. Not after the election, the female folk will come back and say that they complain they were not kind of other. So it is a challenge to all the female folks in any offices, in any one position, they should come on board. Thank you very much. I wish all the aspirants all the best. But we are here at least. People are here to do what? To push that is to make sure he comes on board.
Okay, then. Thank you very much, Mazi Okoroafo. I appreciate your calling in. The other thing we could talk about that I think is very important that came out of the meeting yesterday is that the leadership of the party in the state, the ruling party in the state, was sort of defined unequivocally, meaning that there will be less confusion. So is it who? Because some people who have really worked and have invested resources and time and effort, they are there wanting to be leader of the party by action and their deeds. But the governors have been stated to be the leaders of the party. Now, you couldn't be clearer than that.
Well, that's straight. The constitution of the party gives the power of the leader of the party to the governor, and that's straightforward. However, there are some states where you have, in Lagos, in Katsina, for instance, some of the babas there will play advisory role. So what they are saying here is, in Osun, Governor Boyega Oyetola is the leader of the party. It is clear. However, Chief Adebisi Akande, a former governor and a former national party chairman, can be in an advisory position to the governor, being a former governor, being someone that's gone through that path. But the constitution of the party is clearly stated that the governors are the leaders of the party. So I'm sure this will again reduce the friction you have in states where you have the governors and the former governors having friction. It is clear, and I think all the structures of the party understand that. But however, there are situational, exceptional cases whereby they would also defer to the advisory role of some set of leadership. Like in Osun, we have what is called Agbo Osun. Yeah, the governor is the leader of the party, but the governor will not do anything without carrying Agbo Osun along. That has Baba Kande and a lot of them. Lagos, I'm sure the governor of Lagos will not do anything without carrying along the governor's advisory council. So
okay, let me quickly let me take someone. Emeka is calling in from Benin Republic. Good morning to you, Emeka.
Good morning, sir.
Please go ahead.
Sir, please, I want to talk on the amount of picking the form for presidency.
Okay.
I think the amount is too exorbitant. In my own opinion, I think what they should be asking for is who is going to be there. If they want to measure maybe the person who will pick the form based on the amount, I'm thinking of measuring the person based on intelligence or somebody who have led a post and his ability to handle such a post. Let them look for somebody who is credible, who can manage the situation in Nigeria now. Not the amount that they place on the picking of forms that will help Nigerians to come out of this mess we are in now. We are looking for somebody who can be able to handle the situation that everybody is crying. We are hungry.
All right then, Emeka, thank you very much. We've almost run out of time, but thank you very much for your call because we did get the import of your contribution. Now,
I wanted to respond quickly to that.
Okay, but I want to hear from her because I wanted to hear from her on the leadership of the party now in the state where the governor is in charge. So this will cut down on the tussles that we have seen in the past in states, right?
Yeah, especially with the party structures in the states and the people in charge. But then what happens in states where probably APC does not have a sitting governor?
The governorship candidates.
The governorship candidates will now, but you know we don't always have governorship candidates except towards election.
So that is and as you were saying, there are structures. Whoever people that saw themselves as leaders of the party before in the states had their own structures. Now that there has been this clear explanation, what is going to happen to those structures? Will they be thrown into the kitty on the side of the party?
No, except for very, very few states. They've always been working together. Okay. It's just that these things are there in the constitution, so the national chairman just re-echoed this. Okay. And what Emeka said, I need to quickly respond.
Yes, very, very briefly,
that
please.
You picked up nomination, expression of nomination and nomination does not mean you would even be qualified to do the primaries. There will be screening. There will be a lot of things. And that you are being screened and you took part in primaries does not mean you will win. So at the end of the day, the delegates would obviously pick the best candidate. And for our party,
so that's why you said
we know the best party.
So that's why you said it's only for big boys.
You can't win that argument in the sense that you've already shut out some people in the first instance with the 100 million nomination.
No, I have said it before you came in that presidential election anywhere in the world
is not for
small boys. In America, Joe Biden ran with the incumbent president. Joe Biden has been Senate for almost over 30 years.
Yeah, it's not for small kids, but at the same time, it's not in terms of the amount of money.
No, it's not you. It's not you contributing. In 2014, when Muhammadu Buhari became the candidate,
it was 27.5 million. Now he did complain that it was too much.
But it was not even the one that paid. Don't forget that we did scratch card.
Yes.
And average Nigerians were contributing 100 naira.
Actually,
so if they believe,
what I think parties should be doing in Nigeria is for parties to start to have real members where they
Okay.
can actually get
Dues.
people, yes,
The-
get
the
dues,
dues
membership
paying
dues,
members.
so that
Yeah,
there will
yeah.
be enough money to run the party, so that we don't
But
rely
one
on
thing
some
I
of
know is
these
if
things.
Uncle Yori decide to run now, there will be some of his viewers. I'll say, okay, yeah, 100 naira, 200. That's what they did for Muhammadu Buhari. And it
Let's
became
keep
a
this
big
serious
money.
now.
No, it's
Let's
a
keep
fact.
this serious.
It's a fact.
Anyway, I want to thank you, gentlemen. I want to thank you, sorry, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much, Dr. Olabisi Deji Fulutile, journalist and editor-in-chief, franktalknow.com, and our friend Remi Omowaye, Osun State Commissioner for Works and Transport. Thank you very much for, and I'm sure we're going to see you,
An ardent supporter of Ashwaji Bola Ahmed Tinubu.
Okay, that has been duly noted. you didn't want to add any ardent supportership.
No, let me just,
for now.
I'm a journalist.
For
Okay,
now,
women in
exactly,
politics.
exactly.
Women ardent supporter of more women in politics.
Yeah.
Okay.